Yes, yes. You should know that when she graduated Yale Law School, she could have gone to work for a large firm. She didn't. She came down here and worked for Marion Wright Edelman, and she researched why children, juveniles, were in jail, and children with disabilities, and all these types of things for the Children's Defense Fund. As a young woman, she showed what she was about coming out of the gate, and she's consistently done that. I think right now, because we have such an amazing problem with mass incarceration, that, and I believe this because this is how I feel, that black people are not only heartbroken now, it's turned to anger and fury. And we have been, the black community has moved not only America, but the world with our power.
Yes, right.
And that's what we have to remember, because we can feel so powerless for seeing the videos, but we all knew that that happened without those videos.
Right.
It's been happening since when they brought us here.
Right.
They just didn't have the videos to prove it.
That's
In the 70s, they had no videos. They were doing all of that stuff and worse. And it really is difficult now to take it, seeing the actual proof, and then not getting even justice with proof. That you could choke a man on the streets, and that's done in, that trial's basically done and sealed somewhere. And we can't see what's happening with that. Our children, our brothers, our sisters, Sandra Bland, this is more than, but to me, it's again an opportunity for, again, the African community, which I believe its moral compass steers the world to rise up and prove that perhaps we're exactly where we need to be right now. There was an abscess underneath there that was not being tended to. And whatever you leave foul is going to rot and fester. And it has festered and come up. And so I think with all the fury and the anger, which really just comes from a deep abiding hurt and tiredness, by the way, it's time, and it's we know it, we know how to do it, but we need to get into community together again. And it is difficult because we're so, with the unequal pay and all the things. People have 2-3 jobs.
Everything.
They're going to school. They're under debt. They're single parent household, no parent households. We have so many things coming at us. Phones beeping all the time, through computer. You know, our jobs never turn off. And we have this other thing that's on and weighing us. And I believe that Hillary Clinton has consistently shown that she has very aggressively tried to deal with the racial inequalities.
Oh yeah.
She has a record to prove it, and we should look at that record. I think people are all getting locked up into the same hole, and that's not right either. I think that we need to find common cause with people, and what you say, like a councilman here, that can do things, are not afraid to stand up to anybody.
That's right.
And we all seen her get knocked down and get back up, get knocked down and get back up. And every time they thought that you saw the 11 hours that they had her there, we see again who she is.
That's right.
We see again not only who she is, you see the black women behind her, had her back.
That's right.
And the reason why, it's not because those black women aren't powerful themselves and wouldn't be amazing presidents. It's because they've met common cause a long time ago, and they're sisters in the cause. And we have to remember that with our brothers and our sisters, to use the power that we have, which is immense. As we're a very small group of people in the United States, 12%. But never have you seen such a small group change the entire world with what we do when we come up against a hard place. We chisel that to marble and stone and shine it up and make it beautiful. That's what we're going to do now.
That's right.
And I believe that Hillary Clinton, this is why I support her. I don't like rhetoric. My father was a preacher, I told you. You can say all sorts of pretty things, get people blood worked up. Show me.
That's right.
Show me what you've done.
That's right.
If you show me, then I'm with you. And she has plenty of wonderful things to show, and I always say people should go and check that out. Obviously, many of you already know these things, but we need to make sure that people know this. We need to use that as ammunition, because as long as we're not together, we will be unfocused, and we'll lose this opportunity.
Amen.
Well, I would say that to answer the question, yes, I support her because of her issues. Like I mentioned before, it's great to have a woman, but the whole hoopla of the first woman president, I think that's just gravy on the fact that we have a candidate that actually has positions on issues that really will advance our cause. And I think what gets me and really touches me about Hillary Clinton is the fact that, yes, she has shown, I don't want to expound, I just want to say echo to what Erika said, just looking at people's experience and where they have worked, what they've done, not just what they say they're going to do. You have lots of people who will say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, but this is someone who has really shown that she cares about everyday people. And I'll say that one of the things that I do work on at the city is a financial empowerment of our community, and that's something that I've been really working towards over the last few years. I've gone on summits and different conferences, and as I go there and you look at the policies that really keep our communities down, keep us from being financially stable, keep us from being able to provide adequate education for our communities, those are all policies that some candidates will jump on those bandwagons and they'll say because, it gets them those votes. There are other candidates that I think have been very consistent on the policies that they know will work to bring everybody up and not just divide our community. And those have been policies that Hillary Clinton has worked on when she was First Lady, when honestly, a lot of times people look at, First Lady and say, okay, what are you going to do? And you take on something that, could potentially be meaningful, but is flowery. Anybody can, and I'm not trying to criticize, this was great. Everybody remembers when we were young, just say no. Okay, and, everybody can say, okay, Nancy Reagan got up there and said, just say no, and that she pushed that. Nobody could disagree with trying to keep kids off drugs.
Right.
But when Hillary Clinton was First Lady, healthcare was a huge issue. Mm-hmm. It was not a popular issue for people to take on. And she didn't say, I'm not going to take it on because it's not going to be popular, it may hurt my husband, etc. She took it on because she knew it was important.
Right. That's right.
And, you look at the groundwork that was laid through that fight that actually eventually helped the Affordable Care Act be passed. And so, I just look at her history and look at what she has stood behind over her many years of public service, whether it is as a lawyer, whether it was as First Lady, whether it was as a senator, whether it was Secretary of Secretary of State, whatever role she has been in, as a mother, the roles that she has been in, she's been very consistent on the policies that she's been promoting. And so I do think that as a candidate, we really just have a candidate that has a breadth of not only experience, but has the compassion and the will to really get something done and move us forward.
That's right.
And you made healthcare affordable.
That's
Because
right.
a lot of these teachers, you have to. Because a lot of the students, like African American students, 2 out of 5 of them have children when they're going to college. And they can't afford to go to college and pay for affordable health care affordable child care for their children. And that really helped. She's actually, as First Lady, flooded the African American communities with billions of dollars for after-school programs and programs for teaching, all that. I don't know if y'all remember the 90s, but that's what happened a lot.
That's right.
A lot of the black people moved into the middle class because of it. We had much more inner city programs inside. It was because of her. Early childhood education is her thing. Because of Marion Wright Edelman, because of her background as a mother. This is a woman who has endometriosis and only had 1 child. She wanted more. I think a lot of the things that she does for children is not just out of being a politician. I think she truly does love the idea of having children, but she doesn't want to have children and have them be out there and there's no help for them. So she puts a lot of her energy into it and has consistently done that, has consistently fought for them. One of the things she fought for, my parents were orphans, I said, there was a foster care. You could be in there forever, languishing, and then age out of the system. She changed the laws to help people adopt children who were in their homes, but they couldn't because the system took so long to allow them to adopt. There's true legislation you're talking about in terms of education that needs to happen. I think for children to have proper education, a totally reforming the school. And I don't know, this Common Core is crazy. Somebody tried to teach me the math. I just said, no, please. I didn't want to know. And a couple of my friends teach. My mother was a teacher. I think that we're not helping our teachers. We're not paying them enough. We're not seeing that they're overwhelmed. I don't know if y'all see online, there was a teacher who was menaced by her class. Did you see him holding a chair, and this woman was tired? She looked like, it was
so little.
So little. She said, somebody get security.
Yeah.
Oh, and then they were just coming at her. And I said, could that have happened in any other time where they foolishly filmed themselves doing it? But the disrespect, we need also to have parents be not told and trained, come back and say, y'all need to go to school to learn what education is about. You can't just beat your child and say, don't go to school or else. You have to show them. You have to give them the respect that they need for the teachers. There's no one person president who can do that, certainly. But we definitely need the money. We need the resources. We need the help. We're here in a place where they put all sorts of legislation and restrictions, especially on people who cannot move to different schools. And we've suffered for it. Again, because they can move out of those and go to suburbs, they're fine. And I believe that she knows that very well, and she's going to address that. But again, this is a community thing you're talking about.
That's right.